Hello, everybody. Hey. Now, hold on. Just making sure that the internet doesn't explode or something. Yeah, I don't know. Who is all here? Hey, Connie. Connie actually beat Sean in, which worries me because where is he then? If you don't know where he is, he's probably causing trouble somewhere. Anyway, though, we're continuing our celebration of Halloween. Hey, there's Mr. Bishop. Hello, Mr. Bishop. I love how every YouTube live stream or show initially is literally just people saying hi to each other for like 5-10 minutes.
Every YouTube live stream you see, that's what happens.
That is the first 5 to 10 minutes. Just making sure everything's good. Because my mother just sent me a message saying that she was having trouble actually finding us on YouTube. So,
Our neighbors might be moving.
noisy ass desert, isn't it? Anyway, hopefully everything is working. Everyone can hear us and see us and so on. So tonight, we're continuing to celebrate Halloween by talking about probably one of the most fun parts of Halloween, though admittedly it's a more modern tradition. We're talking about horror movies and horror films, which, I mean, I don't know if you could tell, kind of a big fan of those around here. I am actually surrounded by stuff off screen. I have so much horror movie stuff, actually. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing seemed kind of weird. But anyway. So, got my notes here. It's weird. I'm so used to things going haywire and being weird, when we started an episode, that now that everything's fine, it's like, wait, no. Am I forgetting something? Anyway, though. We're going to jump right into this one. Well, yeah, everyone loves horror movies. I mean, I would hope you love horror movies if you're on a channel called The Vagrancy Horror. But, of course, we got to go, and to kick this off, we have to talk about the old ones. The great old ones, you could even argue. Some people jokingly call them the originals. So, hold on here, make sure I got my dates right. Yeah, 1931. Universal Studios is nearing bankruptcy. They're not looking good. They've lost a lot of money. And they also are about to turn a corner and lose even more money investing in helping the war effort when World War II gets kicked off. But what's funny is because they were in such a bad financial place, they kind of reached this Zen moment of just not caring at all. And pretty much you could go and ask Universal to make any movie. Because, I mean, what do they care? As far as they know, in a couple of months, they're going to be, pinching pennies and stuff. So, oh, crud. Something's wrong. Okay, never mind. It's fixed. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm 90% sure it was just that my mom cannot use technology. So, anyway, though. So they had this mentality that they were screwed no matter what they did, so, well, might as well spend the last of the money we have. And so they gave these two films the green light. What they didn't realize is that these two movies, technically three, and I'll explain in a little bit, these two movies would not just save Universal, they would create the most long spread film continuity from North America. And I can already hear some Disney fans like, what? MCU? No, trust me. The thing I'm talking about can put freaking the MCU to bed. Okay? They made 2 movies. Dracula and Frankenstein. Both based off of novels, both horror movies, both... Keep in mind, nobody makes horror movies. You don't do horror movies. No, you want happy, uplifting movies about, teen love or some historical event. No one makes horror movies unless they're planning to go out of business anyway, so who cares? But here's the thing. Those 2 films actually exploded. It turns out that when you're wedged between 2 world wars and everyone's terrified that, evil will re-engulf the world, for some reason people really love the idea of going to the movies and being scared out of their minds. In fact, they actually had to make Dracula twice. They made the infamous Spanish version of Dracula, which I will confess I have never actually sat down and watched the Spanish version. From what I understand, it's basically scene for scene. It's just that a lot of the dialogue is changed to make sense in Spanish. But in either case, and by the way, the world, the Hollywood elite did not want this to be a thing. They did not want Dracula and Frankenstein to be successful. Years and years later, Alfred Hitchcock would even expose the Academy of, Film and Arts? The ones that do the Oscars. That's the Academy of Film and Arts, isn't it? When everyone says, I'd like to thank the Academy, that's the Oscars, isn't it?
Yeah, the Academy is the Oscars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Academy Awards.
Yeah, but I'm saying the Academy of Film and Arts. Oh, hey, Troy. Yeah, there he is. There's Sean. Sorry, I'm late. My phone and computer broke, so I am no longer keep track of time.
The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences.
There you go. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, aka a bunch of a-holes.
Yeah, they give themselves awards and pat themselves on the back and hug their own farts.
I know.
Oh, did I just say that? Oops.
Oh, buddy. Look, spoiler warning to everyone listening. These are films that are very important to me and to the bishop over in the corner. We are going to get bristleford and we are going to say things that are not appropriate and some people may not like. In which case, I'm just going to get this out of the way now. Remember these 3 important things. Number 1, I'm sorry. Number 2, we're going to do it anyway. And number 3, I was lying about the first thing. Anyway, back to my point. There was a conspiracy within Hollywood to try and smother these horror movies because they were not quaint and appropriate. Modernly, they try to gussy it up and like, oh, there were a bunch of homosexuals who made these movies. One, nobody cared. Okay, and we'll actually address that in a minute. But no, the whole myth that, Hitchcock was queer and stuff like that, that literally doesn't exist before like 2000. Nobody said that. Okay? But again, we'll get into that more later. Right now, what we're talking about is by making Frankenstein and Dracula, which again, they had to make twice, they accidentally created this whole new thing. Now, horror movies had existed before this, of course. You had things like the original Phantom of the Opera, which is kind of funny how it comes full circle in a little bit. Nosferatu, of course, one of the greatest films of all time, absolutely fun to watch. It's never a bad time to watch Nosferatu. But anyway, these were a kind of a renaissance. Because again, they literally didn't care. They figured they were going to go broke anyway. So what's the difference, right? But anyway, and I'm going to have to close the chat here real quick, so behave yourselves. They created what became known as the Universal Monsters, or we know them today as the Universal Classic Monsters. Some people call it the Dark Universe now, or the Dark Verse. I'm just going to say this, and Bishop, help me out here. Am I the only one who's tired of universes?
No.
Who's tired? I'm sorry. Adding verse to the end of a word doesn't make it interesting or cool. Okay? Especially when 9 times out of 10, everyone's rushing to make multiverses now. So it's like, no. I actually like Universal Classic Monsters.
Yeah, Universal originally did it, and then...
I mean, well, at least they're Universal. It makes sense with Universal, but like there's...
And then Marvel came and did it, which used to be really good, I'll admit. But then now everybody has to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have Tom Cruise in the Mummy.
Oh my...
And
We're...
Godzilla's going to have this big universe.
The Monsterverse. I'm so tired of them just calling things a verse.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't we go back to the cool verse? Like Freddy versus Jason. Can we get another one of those?
See that
Which,
one?
by the way, real quick, I know, conspiracy theory off topic. Real quick, originally, Freddy versus Jason was supposed to include Hellraiser. That was the original plan. Was actually for it to be a 3-way thing. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Anyway, the Universal Classic Monsters. Now, going off of Universal themselves, there are 40, count them, 40 films that are considered canon to the Universal Classic Monsters. Not all of which are actually monster movies. There's a lot of murder mysteries and things like that that are kind of the unloved children. Because, I mean, come on. What do you want to watch? A movie about a serial killer or friggin' Dracula? Come on, let's be fair here. But anyway, now what's interesting is that these movies actually had a very loose canon. Because you have to remember, these movies were made, a lot of them were literally made in defiance. Like, well, why can't we do that? You know what I mean? And they loved to take movies that were originally books. For example, another famous one, The Invisible Man, was actually originally written by H.G. Wells. Sorry. I don't know why. I am in pain today. Something wrong?
No, everything's good.
Mr. D. Anyway, though, sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I suddenly am in pain. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, you know what? It's those witches we offended last week. Anyway. Now, the Universal... the Universal Monsters ultimately actually spread out from 1931 to the last one, which was in 1956. Which, for those keeping tally books at home, that's 25 years of filmmaking. Something that always makes me laugh. People talk about the MCU. It's such an intricate series of films, and I'm just sitting here like, so you want to see House of Frankenstein? I'm sorry, Disney. Your 10 years of, good to declining superhero movies ain't got jack. Oh, I know. They're going to be knocking on the door any minute now. I said the D word. Anyway, though. But, hold on. I'm trying to... Sorry. It feels like the chair is far away, too. Maybe I can bring this closer. I'm sober, I swear. But, and it's kind of funny, because, like I said, it spans 25 years. They kind of went in dips and valleys here and stuff, because it actually took them 10 years to really start getting to what a lot of people know. There's a lot of movies that are, kind of like The Raven. Trying to think of the other ones. There's a lot of them that are kind of not really monster movies, so they're kind of unofficially classic monster films, but they're made in that time frame. But no, it took them 10 years to get around to remaking Phantom of the Opera in color, which had its own mess of problems, which today actually still has problems too, actually. Because the original Phantom of the Opera was made with Lon Chaney Sr., the man with 1,000 faces. Well, flash forward to 1943, they're remaking the Phantom of the Opera. And the son of Lon Chaney Sr., Lon Chaney Jr., is under contract with Universal. So everybody's like, you're going to get Junior to play the Phantom, right? Because that was his father's role, right? Right? And then Universal went and hired some other guy to play the Phantom. Now, the ghost story is that Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney Jr., and a bunch of other people too, like Rothbone, the horror mafia, as they were called, or the Four Horsemen of Horror, they basically pulled this other actor aside, and they were like, yeah, you're not playing the Phantom. That's a Chaney role. Lon Chaney Jr. is going to play the Phantom. So, if you watch the 1943 color film, you'll see there's a lot of scenes where they just show the Phantom's shadow on the wall. Or he has the mask on, he doesn't say anything. As the ghost story goes, that's actually Junior, who would sneak onto the set, put the mask on, and play the Phantom. But of course, the studio, they paid money for this other actor. So they're like, no. Chaney, you're not playing the Phantom. I'm sorry. And that didn't stop him. So there was a actual Phantom running around on the Phantom of the Opera, played by the son of the original Phantom of the Opera. You cannot get more crazy weird than that, am I right? Well, not exactly. Tragically, Fox, I believe it was Fox, they made their own Phantom of the Opera. Well, Fox is now owned by our wonderful friends at Disney. So, if you notice, whenever you look at current Universal Studios monster stuff, there's somebody missing. The Phantom. Because Universal is apparently not allowed. Disney won't give them permission via Fox to use the Phantom anymore. And, you know, it's funny actually, because I mean, I know I'm going off topic here, studio drama. Everyone's joking about how Disney's going to owe so much money to Comcast in a few months or whatever the hell. Comcast owns Universal. How funny would it be if, like, in the negotiations for all that money and stuff, Comcast was just like, give Universal the Phantom back. We'll take $1 billion off. Give us back the Phantom. You know, everyone jokes about like, oh, I wish I could have seen the Beatles reunited. I wish I could have seen, you know, this this thing, or, you know, I wish I could see John Carpenter and Kurt Russell, thank you. I wish I could see them together again in a production. Me personally, it's like, I want the Phantom back. Screw all those other reunions and things like that. The Phantom is a Universal classic monster. He should be with the others. He should be in the, you know, the current stuff. Get on that, Comcast. We are so getting sued. I am so good. But anyway, like I said, they spent 25 years filling up this canon of films, making 40 different movies. And of course, everyone has their own favorite. All of them had their own controversies, because again, there was a conspiracy to try and smother these movies. Which, by the way, didn't work. Universal Studios made literal bankrolls with these movies, to the point that even modern today, the big wigs over at Universal will tell you the only reason we have Universal Studios, and I've said this before on the show, is because of the classic monsters. They literally owe their existence as a studio to these characters and these stories, which is one of the reasons that in 2025, their huge grand park, the Epic Universe, there's that word again. The Epic Universe is going to have an entire area all year round just for the monsters. Somehow, some way I'm going to get there, by the way. Probably have to sell a kidney, might have to, in Minecraft someone, as the kids say, to get there, but I'm going to get there someday. But it is kind of funny, though, because like I said, these are films, I've got dozens of them. I mean, I'm not sure which one my favorite is, but I do love the Abbott and Costello crossovers. That was right on my foot. But every decade or so, they re-release them in various collections, and I actually have them here. So there have actually been 5 archived collections of the Universal Monster movies. Which, by the way, none of them actually contain all 40 films. This one, the most recent one, the one I have, the really fancy platinum one, which came out in... Yeah, this came out in 2018, actually. The Universal Classic Monsters Complete Collection actually doesn't have the complete of what is considered the complete Universal Classic Monster series, actually. Because this has 30 films. And personally, I have mixed feelings about those other 10, because they're movies like The Raven and The Captive Wild Women and stuff like that. And it's like, those are horror movies, I'll give you that, but they're not about the monsters. They're not the monster movies. But I have it actually here. Yeah. So the first collection was just the classic collection, which was released in 91 on VHS. Which, by the way, real quick, in my personal opinion, and I know people are going to disagree with me here, I'm going to say it anyway. The 1991 classic collection box arts are some of, if not the best VHS artwork I've ever seen. I love those boxes. I had so many of them as a kid. I'm willing to bet my mom still has them somewhere. I remember she kept all of our VHSs like in a trunk. I want to see if I can find it here real quick. Never mind. But anyway, the classic collection was re-released twice over, actually. Once in 91 on VHS, and then again on VHS in 94. It was followed by the Classic Monsters collection, which is where they got that name, the Classic Monsters, was in 99. The Legacy collection came out in 2004, and actually a lot of people didn't like that because that was just 6 movies. That was just Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man, The Mummy, The Creature. It didn't even have the Wolfman. I know, right? Travesty, isn't it? Which is funny because actually the Wolfman is one of the most iconic characters because of Lawrence. The character's name was Lawrence. The actor, Lon Chaney Jr., did such a great job with it. But actually, it was one of the last ones made. Hold on here, I have the date. Yeah, Wolfman didn't get made until like 41. So it was 10 years after the first two. But a lot of people say that the Holy Trinity is the Wolfman, Dracula, and Frankenstein. But it took him 10 years to come along. Although some people argue that Wolfman... Yeah, here it is, yeah. House of Frankenstein, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, which, by the way, are basically the same bloody movie. They really are. They kind of cheated with some of these canons, but I'll get to that in a second. No, the Wolfman supposedly it actually got held up because of technology, which I think is insane to think about because they made the Invisible Man before they made the Wolfman. Which, by the way, fun side note, the Invisible Man, everyone always asks that question. When I talk about Universal movies, they go, wait, how did they make the Invisible Man without CG? What if I told you they accidentally invented green screen to do that movie? They would film the scenes with the actor playing the Invisible Man, but they would have like this black mesh over his body underneath the clothes, standing in front of a big mesh black screen that looked identical. Now, here's the funny thing. The cameras back then were so crude that they couldn't pick up the definition in his face. It would just looked like blackness. And then they took those cells that they filmed and layered them over the actual shots in the rooms and stuff like that. They essentially made the green screen before there was a green screen without the computer parts. And I feel horrible because I can't remember the actor's name that played the Invisible Man. And of course, my brilliant mind, I didn't actually write it down. The bishop's looking it up real quick, though. But I remember he took so much unfair heat. There was so much... I know. They made a god-awful remake of it. There we go. H.G. Wells, The Invisible Man. I feel bad because I can name the character. He played Dr. Griffin. Was the character's name. But,
Claude Rains.
Claude Rains, thank you. Damn it. I feel bad because that was literally in my head, and I was like, no, that's not right. If I say it and I'm wrong, I'll look like an idiot. Anyway.
Let's talk about Johnny Depp as Claude.
Was he in that god-awful remake that I'm not going to talk about? Either way. Point is, he was actually a bit of a tough subject. He had done a lot of voice work, and there were people who were making fun of him that he couldn't act, which is really unfair because he made lots of movies. He was a perfectly good actor. And I personally argue that he made an incredible performance. He made an incredible performance in The Invisible Man. But the thing is they kept heckling him and teasing him and making fun of him. He got very frustrated. And one of the most iconic scenes in horror, the scene in the inn where he is unraveling and, you know, he finally gets so mad at all the people bothering him that he's like, fine, you want to see what I look like? Okay, fine, I'll take the damn bandages off. That scene was largely impromptu. That was just Rains basically getting all this animosity and how upset he was off his chest. He was so mad that they weren't taking him seriously and they were being really disrespectful to him and really rude. And he just decided, you know what? The whole moral of the Universal monster movies in the first place is screw it. So he did. He said screw it, and he just went off. Meanwhile, a brilliant cameraman is just sitting here cranking the wheel like, yes, 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 yes. And it ended up being one of the most iconic scenes in movie history. Not just because of the technology and the trick photography they used for it, but because it's just that good of a scene. It's that great. Rain's performance was so wonderful. Also, personally, a lot of people try to say, this is one dumb person on the internet. I want to correct that. They actually commented how the Invisible Man's laugh sounds so much like the Joker. No. No. The Joker's laugh sounds like the Invisible Man. And that was, again, all Rains. Because he literally just snapped and was so fed up with the whole thing that he didn't care anymore. He was just doing whatever the heck came out of his mouth and a lot of improving. And years later, of course, because they have to, a lot of people try to say, well, actually, he was frustrated because he was homosexual. One, nobody asked. Nobody cares. And two, okay, you know what? Let's play devil's advocate for a second. Let's say he was gay. What about his performances changed? It does. It blows my mind how people get so nitpicky about the most redundant little details. Like, who cares? Rain's performance as the Invisible Man, and I'm going to make people angry. I'm going to say it. Rain's performance as the Invisible Man was better than Bela Lugosi's as Dracula. You can all just hate my guts. Okay? There. I freaking said it. And whether he was gay or straight doesn't change anything. Okay? I'm sick and tired of hearing that rumor. Anytime, any old... Have you noticed that, Bishop? Have you noticed that? Any old director, producer, writer, any person tied to the arts that has been dead for like at least a decade, you know, they were actually gay. I am so tired of hearing about this stupid rumor. So, because it doesn't matter. It literally does not matter.
It's like, whatever they are, they still made a decent movie.
Exactly.
Or they made a crappy movie.
Yeah, they could have earned themselves a Razzie. Now, to be fair, sometimes bad can be good. There are some movies so bad they're fun. I mean, let's be completely honest here. That's how we got half of the slasher movies from the 80s and 90s. But going back to my point, and I know I'm rambling.
Plan 9 from Outer Space, we have that.
Yes, we do. Another great movie that's, when you actually look at it, pretty terrible. When you look at Plan 9 from Outer Space, yeah, it's bad. It is bad. Okay, I'm sorry. It is bad. But, more importantly, it's fun.
The original Blob.
The original Blob was so ridiculous. But you know what's funny? And again, I'm going to anger the internet. I think the original Blob is better than the 88 version. Not saying the 88 version is bad or anything. I'm just saying I actually prefer the novelty and ridiculousness of the original. And how they kind of got around doing scenes, you know. They had... See, that's one of the reasons that I love these movies. They were playing on hard mode. They had it hard. You can't show blood. You can't show certain people dying. You can't do this. You can't do that. And they found ways around it. Not only found ways around these ridiculous censorship laws. By the way, screw censorship. Probably the first thing I've said tonight that anyone's going to agree with. I'm afraid to open up the chat. I literally said that there was someone who did a better job than Bela Lugosi as Dracula. There's someone... I'm going to get, like, death threats now or something. For the record, Bela's performance was great. It was iconic. I agree with you. However, Rain's performance as the Invisible Man was better. Anyway, I'm almost afraid... You know who I'm most afraid of is Sean. Because Sean just loves to talk about my bad takes.
I said the remake of The Invisible Man was alright.
Well, we've confirmed Sean's not the best source of information. Especially when it comes to taste. I mean, he doesn't even like Ancient Aliens.
He says the remake was just alright. There's been better in his opinion.
I agree. Like the black and white version. Hell, I'd prefer the spin-offs they made, like The Invisible Agent and The Invisible Man Returns.
How about Hollow Man? I like Hollow Man.
Hollow Man was okay.
It's not as good as the original, in my opinion.
It was just okay. The remake was absolutely stupid. I literally couldn't sit through it. I admit I was pirating it, but I still couldn't sit through it. I literally had to stop. I was like, this is so bad. I'm not liking this at all.
I'm not going to watch it.
Hell no. Frickin' you turn arguably one of the best mad scientists of all time into a psycho ex-boyfriend. Go f*** yourself. Okay, seriously. There's a reason the Dark Verse failed. Okay, it's because you can't remake these movies. It's not just the script. And actually, that's kind of the point I was getting to. It's not just the script itself. It's not just the characters. It's not just the actors. It was this entire mentality that one way or another, in spite of your censorship, in spite of your money, in spite of everything, they were going to make these movies. They cared about these movies. They had fun with these movies. They wanted to do this. Raines was pulling his hair out over how they treated him in that set, but he still wanted to be there. He wanted to be the Invisible Man. And the fact of the matter is, I'm just going to say it, these yuppie little Hollywood elites today don't know what that is. They don't know what it is to actually love something. They don't understand what it is to struggle. And so they will never be able to recreate this magic. To which I say, why don't we just re-release these? Come on, how cool would that be to go to the freaking movies today and go see The House of Frankenstein or The Creature from the Black Lagoon, which was one of the last ones they actually made, because the technology wasn't there to actually film, a movie that is half underwater, for crying out loud. Something up? Oh, I thought you were trying to show me something.
No.
Anyway, these movies were made by people who only really cared about two things. One, they cared about the fact they knew there was no tomorrow. They were sure they were going to go bankrupt. They didn't care. And two, they loved these productions. Boris Karloff famously protested and almost shut the Bride of Frankenstein production down completely because he didn't like how the director was treating his friend, Ezra Lancaster. Ezra, who played the Bride of Frankenstein, and also had a cameo at the beginning of the movie playing Mary Shelley. Everyone forgets that opening scene, but I think it's really cute. She basically came up with the design for the bride. Because the book just describes her as looking ghoulish and hideous. That's it. Yeah. Pass it over. Yeah. This whole design, this iconic hair, the gown, everything, this character did not exist before Lancaster, because Lancaster's the one who came up with the idea. But the director at the time, he's not going to listen to some woman, get back in the kitchen, And Boris didn't like that. Boris didn't like him raising his voice to a woman. So he suffered from fainting spells. Conveniently, every time that they were going to start filming a scene. So Universal Studios calls up the directors like, hey, where's that sequel to that insanely popular movie? By the way, there's I want to say 2 or 3 years between Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein. And now you know why. Boris literally was protesting. He would pretend to faint and have these horrible fainting spells. Losing my hair. Anyway, until they stopped being so mean to Lancaster. And what's funny is supposedly there was one time the director actually got in Boris's face. Keep in mind, one, this is a man who's almost 7 feet freaking tall. Two, Boris did not like people raising their voice. He basically had what we would today call anxiety. And he still didn't even flinch. That's how much he cared about his friend Ezra. He was not going to let them bully her. So he would faint conveniently onto a couch or into a seat or something. And supposedly one time the director was like, I'm going to get a doctor down here and prove that you're fine. And supposedly Boris literally stood up and was like, try me. He's an actor! Pretending things is literally his skill! So, eventually, the director actually started getting threatened by Universal. It's like, hey, whatever the hell you need to do to have Boris Karloff be the monster again, do it. Do it now. So they had to finally fold and let Ezra design the bride, and that's where we get the character. Because, again, it mattered to them. They cared about it, and they had no fear because, what are they going to do, Bishop? They're going to take all our money away? We don't got no damn money! There was no tomorrow anyway, so screw it, let's do it! That was their mentality. And today you have, quotas and committees and writers' rooms with 20 freaking people in them. How, by the way? How do you even find 20 writers? I'm a writer and I don't even know 20 other writers. What the hell? Anyway, though, the point is, these movies can't be remade. Which is why I think Universal's smart. Just talk about the old movies. Make a theme park talking about the old movies. I actually like the Epic. By the way, not sponsored. I just think the Epic Universe sounds really cool, and I'd love to go there someday.
I would too. Supposed to open in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Florida.
Well, mainly open. They have plans for continuing to build and construct it even after 25.
Well, yeah, the initial opening is supposed to be in a couple years.
Yeah, 25, I think.
Road trip.
Yeah.
Florida.
By the way, even with the Monsters Land in Epic Universe, they're still also doing Halloween Horror Nights, which are basically more tributes to these movies, which should say something a lot. I think it's hilarious how Disney is remaking everything and talking about how they need to fix their past. Universal's just sitting there. Hey, you! You want to see the creature from the Black Lagoon? You know what I mean? It's like, imagine that when you honor the things that, butter your bread, you have buttered bread. And yet somehow we need to explain this to multi-million job makers and stuff. Everything okay?
Yeah, I think the light was bouncing off Evie's head and distorting it by your face when you go by the microphone.
Weird.
Your face is distorted.
Neat. But anyway, no, these movies have always been extremely important, and I actually would argue the only reason that they're not hailed as probably saving cinema during the Depression is because, again, there was a conspiracy. They didn't want these movies being made. The Academy at least didn't. The elites didn't. Oh no, they're violent. They're violent and inappropriate. Find someone who cares. I can just imagine, the Academy of Films is sending Universal Studios threats. We're not going to nominate Dracula for a movie. And the CEO of Universal at times just crying into $100 bills. Yeah, that's a meme from what is it, Zombieland, where the guy was literally using $100 bills to dry his tears. I want to say that was Zombieland, which is was Zombieland Universal?
I saw it once.
The original Zombieland's an awesome movie. I never saw the sequel. Real quick, while the bishop double checks my incoherent rambling. What's going on?
Zombieland 2009. What did you want me to look? Oh,
Was it from Universal?
I don't know how to navigate IMDb. Sony Pictures releasing. Distributed by Sony Pictures releasing. Produced by Columbia Relative Media and Pariah.
Huh.
But distributed by Sony Pictures.
Sony, okay. I don't know why I thought that was a Universal. See, Jeepus actually has a good idea here in the chat. No, remake the movies, but you're not allowed to use CG.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
See, because again, half the charm of these movies comes from the fact they had to think out of the box so damn hard. Like I said, they were playing on hard mode. Elza Lancaster, excuse me, not Ezra. Yeah, Troy's right there. I don't know if I could pick a favorite.
If you had to pick one, I guess I'd say. See, I want to say The Thing is probably my favorite horror movie. John Carpenter's.
Well,
The
see,
Thing.
when you get to, and again, this is how sad and pathetic of a nerd I am. You gotta remember something, chat. When you're talking about picking a favorite of these were my friends growing up. Okay? I didn't have friends. And the ones I did have didn't call me their friend. I was never a part of a group or pals or anything. I was always the extra. I was always the odd man out. I was always the tag along. And that isn't the case with these movies. That's why I say I had the best childhood ever. My childhood friends were Vincent Price and Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi and Clyde Rains. Those were my friends growing up. So I really couldn't choose. That'd be like, choosing amongst your friends. I can't do that. Now I could cheat and say, well, the Universal Classic Monster movies. That's my favorite. All of them. All 40. I told you guys I was a freaking nerd. I don't care what you think. Anyway, though, real quick. By the way, Troy's actually in the crowd. Actually, point out one little... Before we move on to the next topic. I actually still got this guy. Usually I have him up on the wall behind my little work corner area. And actually, we got this from Troy. I remember that when I was on his show, we had the giveaways. And like half the people who won the giveaways were my family. Sean, you in the chat still? Are you there, kid? I remember, Sean won Freddy.
Fazbear?
Krueger. Funny thing is Sean won that, and the first thing my mother did was take it out of the box.
Oh, no. Sorry, I just wanted
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is fun. I'm going to be honest with you. I like the character Leatherface more than I liked the movies. If that makes any sense. When it comes, I mean, I don't know. That's just me personally.
That's how it is for me with Freddy Krueger.
He's
I
more
like the character more than the movie.
He's more fun than the movies himself. Yeah, he had a TV show.
I did.
Freddy's Nightmares, I think it was called.
And there was a Friday the 13th TV show too.
Yeah, even though I
don't think Jason was in it.
Yeah, it didn't. It was weird. It was like in that universe, but it was about something other than Crystal Lake.
Yeah, whereas Scream, I know we'll get to. I like the movies better than Ghostface. I mean, it depends on which Ghostface. But...
Yeah, we'll get to that. But anyway, speaking of more modern, speaking of the slasher films, because like I said, I could talk all damned. I could talk forever and eternity about the Universal movies. These were my friends. By the way, real quick, I can't really see that great from over here, but like, there's so many chats that are going off the side and covering my face. I love you guys.
There's a lot of long ones. I can fix them.
Oh, okay, Sean. Whoa. Anyway, though. But we're going to move into...
There we go.
Wow. We're going to move into slashers. Because it's funny because... how do I put this? One of the appealing things about horror in general, and this is going to sound really sadistic, maybe even nihilistic. Hear me out before you grab your torches and pitchforks. One of the reasons that horror survives so well is there's something very satisfying about it. I think it was Joe Bob Briggs who famously said, watching people die can make you feel so alive. And that's partly true, Master Briggs. I kind of agree with you on that. The thing is... Oh, hi, Netter. That's Troy's wife, I believe. It's been so long since I actually... I'm terrible at social media. I'm terrible at talking online and chat rooms and crud like that. So, like, so often I'll just poke my head in on their streams or their videos and stuff like that. I'm so terrible about talking to people. And I'm very sorry about that, for the record, guys.
See, that's what I do, like, late horror show.
I
don't talk.
I almost never... I watch the Late Horror Show every single night. I go to sleep with it. I almost never say anything. I just don't I just don't use chats.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I
I'll
really
watch
don't.
your live stream.
And I feel so horrible about it too, because like, I feel like a heel. But anyway, back to my point. So there's a satisfaction with horror. Now, in the older monster movies, there was the comeuppance. You wanted to see, Dr. Frankenstein learn his lesson. You want to see the creature be defeated. You want to see the Wolfman stopped. Things like that. The slasher films came along in the late 70s, early 80s, and flipped that around. And here's what I mean. Instead of the monster being the bad guy that you want to see defeated or stopped or killed, what they did was they took these killers, like Michael, Freddy, Leatherface, so on, and they surrounded them with a-holes that you did not like. Insufferable, obnoxious, getting laid when you sure as hell aren't, characters that can just be knocked off in quick and unique fashion. Everybody has their favorite kill in some kind of horror movie. Some people love Welcome to Show Business from Freddy Krueger when he put the girl through the TV. Other people like Michael Myers pinning the a-hole to the wall literally with a knife, and then they just stay up there. I'm sorry, that's like the iconic Michael Myers kill, by the way. I love that. It's funny specifically because the first time I watched that movie, I jokingly said, pin that bleep to the wall. And then he pinned the dude to the wall. And again, that was the first time I saw it. I did not know that happens. I literally just said that, and I was like, oh, I didn't know Michael took requests. Thanks, Myers.
See, with slasher movies, there's two characters from when I watch. There's the character you want to die, like usually an annoying character, like a jerk, an asshole, and then there's the character you don't want to die. Usually they both die, and you're like, no, don't take out this character, please, no, they're so sweet. Like,
don't hurt the animal. Don't hurt the dog. Fun side note, real quick, because there's no other point to bring this up. Alfred Hitchcock had a set of rules for making films. Certain things you should never do and certain things you should always do. One of the rules was don't kill a dog. He thought it was a cheap shot. It's unfair. Because, I mean, everyone's going to feel bad if you kill the dog. Dogs don't do anything wrong. People can deserve to die. Dogs don't do anything wrong. It's a cheap shot. It's crude and beneath what you as a creator should be. You shouldn't need to kill the dog to get an emotional response out of your audience. You should be good enough at writing or directing or whatever the hell to where you don't need those cheap shots. So don't kill the dog. Period. This will be on the test. Write it down if you have to. Thank you, Hitchcock. Thank you. Yet another person that, every few months there's somebody saying that they were secretly gay. It's like, oh, shut up. Anyway, though, back to my point. Slasher films inverted the classic formula of horror. Because, again, horror movies at their core are films about comeuppance. And the thing that made slasher films so unique was that they reversed that. They made it to where, Freddy might be the most despicable, ugly kind of person who literally was so evil he came back from hell like 9 times, But, man, those obnoxious teenagers frickin' were just asking for it, weren't they?
A lot of.
You know what I mean? And again, and the best part is they made it even better, especially in the case of Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street, because of the nature of how Freddy Krueger worked, they could be absolutely insane and incredible with a lot of the ways that he killed people. Personally, I think my favorite is the puppet strings.
Oh, that one's brutal.
Where the dude's veins were pulled out and he was puppet stringing him to jump off the roof.
I think that's Dream Warriors 3.
Was that 3?
I want to say that's 3, yeah.
I remember. See, that's kind of the problem with slasher films, because I mean, there's like a dozen of each. They really do kind of blend together. Where you remember the scene, or the specific character. You don't remember the movie though.
See, for me, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and the Friday the 13th movies blend together. Whereas like Scream and Child's Play, like I can tell you, bam, 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 what happens in each of those.
Freddy is both the best and worst to grace the slasher films.
See, everybody talks about John Wick killing the dog. I mean, like, the Road Warrior?
Road Warrior did it.
Road Warrior did it.
Steven Spielberg, I'm convinced he pops a Woody every time he does. Like, seriously, I don't know.
King?
King breaks that rule because he thinks he's too damn good for the rules, I guess. Freaking grave robber. Oh, Jesus brings up a good one, the blood fountain. Johnny Depp's death.
See,
in the bed.
If we're talking about Freddy Krueger, yeah, that one would probably be my...
That one is really cool. It's funny, too, to think that, Depp was a nobody back then, to the point that he literally was a red shirt.
Well, it's like Kevin Bacon in the first Friday the 13th. He gets the arrow through his neck.
Which... Yeah.
I like Depp's better, because it was just... The blood comes
That
out.
was such a... And it was...
They had, like, the set upside down.
They flipped it upside down, yeah.
Dumped it. And...
Trick photography. Real quick.
Yeah, everything was nailed and glued down, and they just had an upside down room. So everything just poured out like it was going on the ceiling.
Mm-hmm. See, real quick, I'm just going to say this. Because people try to say practical effects are better than CG. 9 times out of 10, yes, I agree with you. But in my personal opinion, the true best film thing is trick photography. I like trick photography specifically, like they did with Lord of the Rings. The way they actually made the hobbits little.
Yeah. See, I like practical effects, like animatronics.
Oh, yeah, Sean's bringing up Freddy, the gigantic arm, the ridiculous, the clearly fake, silly, yeah.
See, I like the final of Nightmare on Elm Street, the original one.
Oh, where he pulls the blow-up doll through the door?
Yeah, and you can totally tell.
It's a blow-up doll.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that. But anyway,
maybe that's
that was a fun one.
Part of the charm. Just
it
if
is.
It's a dream. I mean,
yeah, it's not going to make sense. Dreams don't
be a blow up doll in your dream. I guess getting killed.
Well, like I said, part of the charm is how they pulled off these illusions. Back in the day, and that's why I say I love trick photography. But we were having fun. We were all having a good time. And now we need to pick a fight. Because we're going to talk about a specific slasher film. A movie that I'm kind of afraid to talk about. Keep in mind, I'm the dude who was like, let's offend the Wiccans. Let's go ahead and offend, everybody. Get Choopy turned into a newt. How's he doing, by the way?
He's better. He's over here.
I haven't seen him since last week when Jesus laid hands on him.
Oh, yeah, he's right here.
Oh, there he is. Anyway, as I was saying, we got to talk about
Bloodsucking Freaks.
I'd prefer to stay on the air, Mr. Bishop. Well, you're not Mr. Bishop. You're the Bishop.
There's a lot worse than that.
There are, but that is the movie that literally made me question Chris Jericho.
Anyway. And Necromantic didn't make you question anything?
Necromantic was just bad. Okay? Again, and Chris Jericho didn't say Necromantic is his favorite movie of all time.
Well, Chris Jericho's never wrong. So he says Bloodsucking Freaks is good.
I hope they heard that, for all the hell you give me about cursing.
My ears are bleeding.
Anyway, okay. Look, everybody. He got better. You also shrunk. How come you got so big when you got turned into a newt? Go play with those goats over there. Oh, that was a mistake. We're not getting that insurance money back. Anyway, no, I'm talking about one of the most divisive, controversial, and debated slasher films of all time. Halloween. Which some people argue is the original slasher. Because it came out... Hold on, I'm going to have to close my chat out here.
1978.
Yeah, 78. Most of the slasher films that we know, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw, those came out in the 80s. Halloween does predate them. And while personally I love the original Halloween, I do. Mm-hmm. It is unfortunately a franchise that has not progressed through time without some problems. And the big thing is that Halloween isn't what Halloween was supposed to be. Now, a lot of people know this, but I'm going to go over it anyway. Halloween was originally intended to actually be an anthology, a series of movies. Not directly about anything in particular, just they were all horror movies that centered around the day of Halloween. The problem is everybody loved Michael Myers. And the original Halloween ending was left open up because we know that Michael got back up after he gets knocked off the balcony.
He got better.
He got better. He got better. The movies didn't. Yeah, there I said it. Anyway, though, originally they were supposed to be completely disconnected random things, just about scary stuff happening on Halloween. But everyone loved Michael Myers, and here's the thing that I've personally never been able to figure out. They knew this. They knew when they made Halloween that it wasn't going to be a series about Michael Myers. It was going to be just random scary stuff happening on Halloween. Okay. Whose brilliant idea was it to make Halloween 2 also about Michael Myers? I don't understand how they came to this. And it ultimately ended up being a bad decision because everybody was expecting Michael Myers now. It doesn't help that Michael was a really cool character. He was so simplistic and so simple that there was something unique about him. You know what I mean? I know it's weird to say he's like the vanilla of slasher films. Supposedly there's nothing special about him, very plain, but it's in that plainness that he is different than everybody else. Fun side note, the costume was completely thrown together randomly. In fact, the original mask actually was a mask of
William
Shatner. Thank you. William Shatner. I'm terrible at names. Give me a break. It was actually a William Shatner mask that they just messed with to try and make it look a little less like William Shatner. And the whole the jumpsuit, the one piece, freaking mechanic jumpsuit thing, that was literally just something that was in a closet at the studio where they were filming. And they were like, yeah, this will fit the actor. In fact, they originally didn't even call him Michael Myers. I'm going to put this up to the chat real quick. Can anyone in the chat tell me I know you can. Can anyone in the chat tell me the character's original name? The name that they had in the original credits. What was he originally? Because originally they didn't say he was Michael Myers. I mean, I think they did say the name in the first movie, but he was referred to by another name in the credits, and when they initially were promoting the movie, they called him...
Donson Googled it. Sorry, Sean. But yes, the shape. That's the name in the credits.
Yes, the shape. He was the shape. Yeah, people are chiming in.
But then again, I mean,
Well,
the last few years...
he was
now
also supposed to be
everybody
the boogeyman. They had a few different names for him. But that was what they actually went with in the credits, was the Shape. Because again, remember, it wasn't really supposed to be about him. It was supposed to be about weird stuff. And for the record, because I can see already in the chat some people are getting their shields ready. I'm not for or against the sequels. I'm just saying it became a mess because of the fact that they had this original idea and then they didn't stick to it. And I personally don't understand why. Why did we have Halloween 2 be about the Shape again?
See, Halloween 2 should have been what became Halloween 3. And then Halloween, what we have as Halloween 2 should have been maybe Halloween 4 or 5.
Yeah, somewhere down the line. I'm not saying they couldn't bring back the Shape.
And then Halloween 3 should have been something completely new.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I have a theory about Season of the Witch.
I mean, there are good sequels, in my opinion.
There are good... Well, we're getting to it, I promise. But anyway, I have a theory about Season of the Witch. And again, one of the reasons I was actually kind of like, oh boy, are we really talking about Halloween? Because look, whether you like Season of the Witch or you don't, you're allowed to. That's perfectly fine. I understand why people do like it. But here's the thing. Even if you love that movie, even if you think that's the best Halloween movie, you have to acknowledge that it is incredibly divisive. Everybody has an opinion about Season of the Witch, and everybody's ready to fight over it. That is not a good thing. Okay? Ask Disney how having divisive movies, Last Jedi, works out for you. Spoiler warning, it doesn't. $80.05. Anyway. Movies being divisive. Yes, Mom, I am wearing my ring, actually. I am wearing my werewolf ring. Which, by the way, thank you. I forgot. There was a slight mistake last week when we were talking about the Black Lily. The Black Lily's email is actually at gmail.com, not Yahoo. I believe I saw on Facebook that they still have like 4 boxes. There's still time you can get yourself one of the original first generation curse boxes. You can find them on Facebook at the Black Lily 1313 or their website. Oh shoot, I think that's the wrong website again. Black Lily 1313. I'm sorry. Delete that and correct it. It's Black Lily 1313. Oh, geez. I'm becoming my mom. I cannot do anything with technology. I am so sorry. Black Lily 1313. Yep, you can get your first generations. There's still time. Again, you can also find them on Facebook. I love mine. Again, real quick, if you're a tabletop player, they are perfect for you. They are the best drip, if that's what the kids say.
That's disgusting.
I don't know. It's what kids say. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, no, it's actually great because it holds all. You can put a lot of stuff in here, actually. These are freaking really good, especially for only like $30 total. Like I said before, there's a lot worse ways you can spend $30 if you're going to a table with dice and stuff. But anyway, back to my point. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It was very, very dividing. And frankly, that's not good. Now, some people love it. Some people dislike it. Some people say it's okay. The problem is everyone seems to have a very fierce opinion about that movie. And that's where my contention is. You don't want to divide your fan base. You want everyone to enjoy something. You know what I mean? Or at the very least, don't be ready to freaking, grab a goddamn axe and terrorize a film studio, Mr. Briggs. But Season of the Witch kind of does that. Now, for the uninitiated, and I shouldn't have to explain Season of the Witch to any of you, but Season of the Witch did not have the shape, or Michael Myers as we know him now. It was about, and I'm going to kind of speed through this because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm having a hard time coherently remembering Season of the Witch. But here we go. Ready, boys and girls? A bunch of evil robots are using the power of Stonehenge during the Season of the Witch, which is October, to use a television commercial to murder children wearing special Halloween masks. Everyone got that? Don't look at me like that. I'm sober.
Sounds like a good time.
It was so... And they might be... And the robots may have been from space. I'm not sure. They might have been aliens. I don't know. But anyway, the problem with Season of the Witch, I think... the problem with Season of the Witch, I think... I personally think they knew they were screwed. I think they knew after 1 and 2 people wanted Michael Myers back. And so I personally think behind the scenes they were like, they're going to just want us to make more Michael Myers. Okay, before we do Michael Myers, let's do all the other ideas we had. And so Season of the Witch is literally just this mush, this monster mash, if you will, of literally all the other ideas they had. There's robots, and they might be aliens, and Stonehenge, and the witch's Sabbath, and evil killer TV commercials, and cursed children's masks. We got everything, right? Okay, cool. Let's get back to Michael Myers. Which, of course, brought us to Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Yeah, Season of the Witch was so divisive, they had to use the title of Halloween 4 to reassure everyone, don't worry, Michael's back. And you know what the funny thing is?
Those are the ones that sucked.
Yeah. Honestly, here's the thing. Yes, I'm not a huge fan of Season of the Witch personally. I think it's a messy movie that was rushed and really didn't make any bloody sense and was just kind of random and weird and clearly not finished, ready. But I will admit, I remember it. I cannot, for the life of me, tell you anything about Halloween 4, 5. Was there a 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6. Was there a 7? How many does it go up to?
7 is H2O.
7 is H2O. Which is a whole thing itself, because here's the thing. After that, after the mess of Season of the Witch, it finally stopped after 6. And they literally had to stop, take a breath, and essentially reboot the damn series with H2O, or Halloween 2000. But it only gets more fractured because after that, Rob Zombie comes along and makes his own version of Halloween. And then, we're not done yet, kiddies, hold on to your hats, there's another separate canon of Halloween, the Halloween 2020 series, which some people call Halloween Millennial. Which sounds like an insult. I feel like that should be an insult. Halloween Millennial. Millennial Halloween. That sounds horrible. Anyway, though. And these are all separate canons, separate timelines, separate everything. So, if you ever want to just like completely unravel somebody's mind, ask them what their favorite Halloween movie is. From all the different canons, like, so what's your favorite of this and that? And it's like, there's one. All you need is Halloween, the original. The original Halloween is a perfectly done slasher film. 2, not needed. 3, not needed. Sorry, cultists. 4, crime against humanity. 5, bigger crime against humanity. 6, forgotten because it probably broke the laws of physics with how bad it... Wasn't that the one where they had the druid cult that worshipped Myers?
4, 5, and 6 blend together to me. I don't know.
There was a cult. There was a druid cult.
The cult that worshipped him, and he was like...
And somebody became him because they ate a heart or something like that.
And he was trying to kill his niece and his sisters.
And his niece...
Lori was never his sister.
Yeah.
Originally.
Like, what is any of this? None of this is needed.
And
The original Halloween is all you need. Although I will say, what was it, 2018? The Halloween Millennial series. That started in 2018. I actually was okay with that one. And Halloween Kills wasn't bad. I haven't seen Halloween Ends because I'm frankly afraid to because of what I heard about it.
Well, they lost me with the CGI blood.
Yeah, I do.
Honestly, I think Halloween.
I did like. Was it Halloween or Halloween Kills where he literally punches the guy on the stairs and breaks his neck?
No, I think that was Kills.
That was Kills, wasn't it? That was funny as hell to me.
I liked Kills, but
I
gotta
like.
say it. Halloween 2018, I think, is the worst one next to like 5 and 6. I did not like that movie.
It was okay. I liked Kills definitely. Kills was definitely fun. Plus,
The
we got to
CGI
see,
blood was it just showed how cheap they were.
which is a
Kills
problem.
was good.
Kills was fun.
Nothing special. But...
See, I liked Kills. I think Kills was actually really good. Plus, it gave us the scene where Michael just goes Dynasty Warriors on everyone and just freaking carves a path of destruction through a bunch of dumbass angry mob villagers.
Yeah.
And that was just so freaking hilarious and awesome.
Now, well, I guess there's only one person in here who will call me out. I have not seen Halloween Resurrection.
I forgot Resurrection existed.
People say it's the worst one.
Wasn't Resurrection a sequel to H2O?
Yeah. And see, I like H2O.
Yeah. Yeah, the Millennial series picks up after 2.
Yeah, because they completely rebooted it.
Yeah.
Whereas H2O picks up after 2.
That's kind of what they do every time, except for Zombies. Zombies was like Halloween 0 or something.
Yeah.
See, again, I'm just gonna say it.
Which
all you need is one.
I've not seen Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
I'm gonna be honest.
I've heard it's worse.
I dig Rob. I like a lot of his music. I like a lot of his older music videos. They were really cool and trippy. I've heard he's a really cool guy. I've heard he's like a really fun guy to work with. I don't think he's that good of a director.
See, now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I take it back. The Halloween 2018, it's not as bad as, 5 and 6. And I'm just going to say it's better than Rob Zombie's.
Jeebus says he's seen every single Halloween movie except for Ends. Which, by the way, real quick, Miramax is looking to do it again. They want to reboot Halloween. They're looking to sell it to another studio to make another trilogy of Halloween movies. You know what I say?
Well, the Millennial ones.
Go back to Plan A. Do random anthologies. We have plenty of Michael Myers movies. We don't need any more of The Shape. Again, the original movie had a perfect end. He gets away. You don't know where he is. That's the point. He's the fucking boogeyman.
The one that had Busta Rhymes in it, that was Halloween Resurrection.
Open Eyes. Resurrection is such an overused subtitle for movies that even now I still groan hearing it. Yeah. Now Halloween was Craven. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Craven.
No, John Carpenter. Sorry.
Carpenter was Halloween.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Kurt Russell's not in any of the Halloween movies.
No.
I think.
No.
Yeah.
As far as I know, no.
Those two love working together. But no, he was never in any of the Halloween movies. But no, that was Carpenter.
Yeah, John Carpenter.
Who also made The Thing.
The Thing, yes.
Which, it's not my favorite horror movie. But I will say it's probably one of the best done horror movies. Like in terms of the directing, the production, the quality of the effects, the way the story is probably the most perfectly done horror movie. Just not my favorite. Still a great movie, one of my favorites, but not the best. But no, Craven. It's funny that you mentioned Craven, Dad, because we're gonna calm down a little bit here, because I'm sure someone out there is ready to go Michael Myers on my ass and pin me to a wall. But we're gonna actually wrap up tonight's show talking about Scream. Scream is a fascinating beast, in my opinion, for horror movies. Wait, Carpenter did The Fog? Really?
Yeah.
The original or the remake?
The original. Which is probably a remake of something from the, 20s.
Most Carpenter liked doing that. He liked doing things based off other things.
Maybe it's not a remake.
I know there was a remake.
Yeah, The Fog 1980 was...
that was about the ghosts of the pirates that had leprosy.
Yeah.
Because, pirates are so approachable, you got to give them leprosy to make them weird and terrifying, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, no, Scream was made by Wes Craven, and a lot of people will tell you Craven or Carpenter are the kings of horror directing. Personally, me, Hitchcock. Didn't they kill a dog in the thing? Oh, my sweet summer child.
Oh yeah, they killed a dog in the thing. A bunch of them.
Yeah, Carpenter... Well, see, to be fair, okay, real quick. It was a rule to never kill the dog. But there's something people forget. Horror movies have several rules that they must abide to. But there's an extra rule that everyone always forgets about. Every horror movie breaks one rule. But funny, we're talking about rules of horror. Because that was the entire point of Scream. It's kind of funny because everyone for generations talked about how, there are certain things that always happen in horror movies. Scream pulled the veil back and was like, oh, no, honey, we're not just going to acknowledge that there are rules to these movies. Our killer specifically uses those rules to kill people. And I feel old because I didn't realize this. The original Scream was in 1996. Mm-hmm. I thought it was like 99 or something. I felt so old when I looked at that and saw that.
2 was in 98. Or 97.
Wow, I was like 10?
Yeah, I was 7 when the original Scream came out. I remember it being on...
But anyway, now what's funny is Scream kind of has a similar problem to Halloween. There are different people who have a cutoff point, if you will. Some people argue true Scream is 1, 2, and 3. Because it was it was very self-contained and perfectly connected. Other people say that, well, hold on. Craven also made 4. So 4 counts as true Scream. Other people argue, yeah, but it was kind of removed from the original story. And I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just saying people talk about these things. Different people say that the continuity starts and stops at different points for Scream. But what I find funny is people talk about this with Scream, like, what is true Scream to you? People don't get mad about it. Ask somebody what they think about Season of the Witch. And I think you violate the Geneva Convention. I'm not joking. It's so bizarre that Scream has this debate about it, but it's like positive. It's like, oh, no. 1, 2, and 3 are true Scream. And then they'll tell you about how they love it. You know what I mean? It's not like with Halloween where it's like, the Rob Zombie movies are the true Halloween because the other ones suck. They're too they aren't gruesome and brutal enough. They're not edgy. They're pussies. They made Michael a pussy in the other Halloween movies and stuff. It's negative. When people talk about Halloween, it's always negative. They don't like something else or they hate this one. With Scream, it's the opposite. Like, hey, you wanna have a good time? Go to a bunch of horror hounds and say, hey, who's your favorite Ghostface? I'm looking at you. Who's your favorite Ghostface? I know who my favorite Ghostface is. Sean, you've only watched the first Scream? For shame. You should at least watch 2 and 3. I personally like... 4 was okay, but I personally think 4 is the weak link of the true Scream. For the record, I'm one of the people who say that true Scream is 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 and 6 are not true Scream in my personal opinion. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, I personally say true Scream is 1 through 4. Because those are the ones that Craven did. And even if 4 is unnecessary, fair is fair. It was made by the original creator. Craven wanted it to be made. It's part of his creation. I will respect him as a creator. Very tragically, we lost him not too long ago, actually.
I gotta say Stu is my favorite Ghostface. Because earlier I was saying, slash movies have the one person you want to die.
Yes.
The one person you don't want to die.
Mm-hmm.
Scream had 2 people I didn't want to die. Dewey and Stu.
Stu.
And the big reveal is, oh shit, Stu
is Ghostface.
Is the killer. So, okay, yeah, I'm going to say Stu because I didn't want him to die. And he was the one I never saw coming as Ghostface.
See, I'm torn between Stu, but I feel it's partly because of the actor. He was so fun in the role.
See,
I loved him. But personally, my favorite Scream is 2. And I loved Mom. I loved the mom. Who, by the way, was played by the actress who played Roseanne's sister in the TV show Roseanne. And I love... yeah, that's Stu, Jeebus. Stu also played Shaggy in the live-action Scooby-Doo movies.
Which he was awesome in, too.
He was. He transcended memehood with those movies. But I think the mom. The mother whose name I can't remember now. I'm terrible with names.
Mrs. Loomis. I'm trying to...
Loomis, yeah. Which, by the way, is a nod to Halloween, because Loomis was Michael's doctor.
Gosh, I can't even find...
Mrs. Loomis. I can't remember the actress's name. I'm terrible with names.
Yeah.
But Miss Loomis, I think, is my favorite ghost face. But my point is like, yeah, it's bizarre. I remember in our first episode we talked about the difference between Mothman and Bigfoot. How Mothman just scares everyone, and everyone was so afraid of Mothman. But Bigfoot, there's this happiness when people talk about Bigfoot and finding, doing that kind of stuff. And I'm sorry, the bishop is literally looking up Mrs. Loomis to try and find the name of this poor actress.
It's...
I almost feel like
Laurie Metcalf.
Laurie.
I'm looking up Mrs. Loomis, and it's like, oh, Mrs. Loomis went by other names. It's like, I just want to know
The actress.
the actress's name.
Yeah.
Laurie Metcalf, yeah.
But my favorite is probably Mrs. Loomis. Really? That actor, the guy who played Stu, was also in Twin Peaks? He did a lot of stuff, actually. I feel bad because I always know the roles more than the actor's name,
Let me guess who said that. Was he in Twin? He would have had to have been in the new revised version. Watch me be wrong.
Third season of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, the new revised version, which I've not seen, and
I couldn't tell you anything about it.
I don't care to see it.
Wait, hold on. Matthew Lillard is going to be the killer in the Five Nights at Freddy's. Wait, he's playing the purple guy?
Coming from a He Will Star, yeah, set for release. Yeah, I guess he is supposed to be in that.
Neat. Oh, hey, Troy with some random trivia too. Mrs. Loomis is from a Coloradan.
Huh. Nice.
Hold on, Sean, real quick, is that true? Sean, my dad is saying Sean actually has a autographed ghost face mask from Matthew Lillard.
That's really cool.
Sean, can you confirm that, Sean?
He was in the continuation of Twin Peaks.
Oh, Chicago. Excuse me, I misread that. Miss Loomis was from Chicago originally. Oh, okay. I feel so horrible when I talk about actors and stuff because I always know their roles, not their names. I think there's 2 or 3 actors I can actually name. Ryan Reynolds, Johnny Depp. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm terrible at actors' names. Hello.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard is in Twin Peaks. I did not know that. Sean didn't get to meet Matthew. He just got his autograph. That's still really cool. I actually have some autographed merchandise myself, actually. I have Tony. I can't read cursive for Jack. No, I have Todd autographed Candyman. Actually, and this was actually a gift from Kobold's Corner. I feel bad because I've actually never seen Candyman, but this is really cool. But yeah, no, I have an autographed Candyman. See, I'd love to watch the original Candyman again. It's been so long, I can't really tell you too much about him.
Look it up on Shudder. I'm sure it's on there.
Maybe we'll watch it later. But anyway, though.
Also, hi everybody.
You were out of shot.
Where did you get that? That was from Tennessee?
Yeah, it was from Tennessee. It was a little hole in the wall shop in the middle of a dying strip mall.
Aw.
So.
But it is.
See, that's where the cool stuff is always found.
Did you show him the Christmas version of Stormtrooper that I got you?
We'll probably get a cease and desist, but I can go grab that.
But yeah,
also, while he's running off to grab that, I want chat's opinion on...
You're still off screen.
I know.
Oh.
I'm in my night clothes. I want chat's opinion on homemade air-fried potato chips. Yay or nay?
Well, I mean, I like your cooking, personally. Oh, really? See, I've heard, from the same place, we found this...
Christmas Snow Trooper.
Yeah, weird holiday edition Stormtrooper.
And recently he got me a actual silver spoon.
Which is how we know he's not a werewolf.
Yeah, I started to say I should have brought this out on the werewolf show.
Yeah.
It's like, everybody has a silver bullet or a silver cross, and I'm just like, well, if I find a werewolf, hopefully I have that in my pocket and just...
Yeah, no, I was going to say, just
right between
hit him.
the eyes.
Go for the gonads.
And it says, be kind to yourself. Can't really
Good advice. Good advice. Sean says, prove you have an air fryer. No, clearly you own it. Yes, we do. Yes. Yes, we made the terrible mistake of letting the kobold have an air fryer.
Shut up, you like my fries.
I like your cooking in general. He's actually a very good cook. Despite being a, malevolent little force of chaos.
And also to take back what I said, I do kind of want to see the 3rd season of Twin Peaks, but I've heard nothing good about it.
I don't know what Twin Peaks is. I'm going to be honest with you.
David Lynch soap opera from the 90s.
Oh, you should talk to my mom. She loves soap operas. She
But
loves
it's
soap
not
operas.
a traditional soap opera.
If you say so.
If
Anyway,
Sean's actually seen it, he'll know what I'm talking about.
anyway though. But yeah, Scream is funny because it's two things that so many people don't realize what it is. First and foremost, Scream was a love letter, a masterfully executed love letter from Craven to really horror in general. He used the medium specifically of slasher films, yes, but one of the reasons that I love the true 4 Scream movies is that there is love and attention to detail in every single bit of it. The actors are phenomenal in their performances. Like I said, there's a reason that everyone has a favorite Ghostface.
What?
Oh no, I'm just reading the chat. I got distracted here. David Lynch goes hard.
Yeah, I won't watch a David Lynch movie because of Eraserhead. I'm like, I want to see Mulholland Drive, but I'm like, nah, I can't do it. But Twin Peaks was good, and I love Dune.
But anyway.
Better than the new one.
Yeah, but
Dune, you started on Dune. Wait, is it the old Dune?
Yeah, the one David Lynch did, he turned down doing Return of the Jedi for. So I'm glad he didn't do Return of the Jedi. I love him, but after watching Eraserhead, it's like, no.
Well, I mean, the old Dune was pretty bad too, so.
anyways. Anyway, the second thing that Scream did really well, and this is the part that everyone's going to be like, what are you talking about? No. Scream, at its core, is a movie about social commentary. And if you're having to go, wait, what? It's about social commentary? That's how good of a job Craven did with it. He actually, with no effort at all, addressed things like obsession, how people commercialize public trials in the media, the concepts of ownership over things like legacy and family and so on, obsession with social media and being popular online and bowing to the whims of the cameraman, so to speak. And Craven did this across the 4 original films so well that a lot of people get kind of gobstruck when you go, yeah, no, Scream is a movie about social commentary. It's always like, what? No, it's not. Because when you say social commentary, they think things like, obnoxious documentaries on frickin' Netflix that need to race bend characters because it's important to remember these important things that didn't technically happen. No. These were actually well done social commentaries that were, first of all, unbiased. He wasn't trying to demonize anything or anyone. He was just showing you, through the filter of a horror movie, how dangerous it is to let yourself become obsessed with things like being famous. I mean, that's kind of the core of all of them, really, in a way. It's the desire for fame and attention. That's the quintessential thing about Ghostface.
It's all about the trial.
It's all about the trial. It's all about being acknowledged. It's all about the the media. It's all about what are people saying on social media. It's all about the next movie. And then 5 and 6 happen, and I need some gasoline and matches. Seriously, who the hell thought it was a good idea to make a slasher movie about a group of people who are impervious to knives? God, I hate those movies so freaking much.
Except for Dewey. Gotta get rid of his.
Yeah, get rid of him. Yeah, Weathers survives. Real quick, I don't know who you are who made 5 and 6. You. Weathers lives? Really? Weathers survives. Twice over, by the way. Dewey goes down like a bitch because of a missed phone call. Screw you so hard, you Californian little prick. Okay?
That's why the Scream movie stopped at 4 and everything else is fanfiction.
Yes. 1 through 4 was made by Craven. 5 and 6 were not made by Craven. And real quick, before anyone sits here, because I know someone's going to say it, well, but Craven gave his blessing for 5. Yeah. Okay, guess what? They still didn't actually make the movie until he'd already died, and they changed a bunch of stuff. And then 6, which I personally think needs to be jettisoned into the sun alongside those E.T. game cartridges and frickin' World War Z.
The movie, not the book.
The movie, not the book. Yeah, I'm talking about the movie. The book is awesome. By the way, if you haven't read World War Z, read the damn book. There's something that should have been made into like a Netflix miniseries.
That's what I keep on saying, but
What?
nobody believes me. Everybody thinks the movie's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then I have to slap them.
I agree with you personally. I hate that movie. Was so.
Don't say a word. I will throw a potato at you.
He has them. I can't see him, but I know he has one.
I can hear him in his hand.
Really? Did you see what Troy has to say,
Huh?
Mr. Bishop, about Eraserhead?
Yes. And that's why I've not seen things like Mulholland Drive or Inland Empire. Is because as much as I like Eraserhead, and nobody will believe me because nobody I know has seen Eraserhead, it's a really hard movie to watch. Just because
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Just because of
I-
the feel of the movie. It's very well done. It's David Lynch. And again, if you don't know who David Lynch is, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. I probably won't say how I found out about Eraserhead. I was online and I saw a picture. Somebody did a picture of the baby, and I actually commented on it. And they told me about the movie, and I went and I watched it, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that was good. Never watching that again.
But like I said, no. Scream ends at 4. I respect the people who say that it ends at 3 because, yes, 4 kind of is tacked on and really not needed. I see that.
Unlike the Star Wars movies, which has several more trilogies to go with Rey Skywalker.
Palpatine.
Whatever.
Are we talking fan fiction?
Anyway.
But yes, I do want to see Inland Empire and Mulholland Drive. Like I said,
You're just scared to now.
I have to be in a mood to watch it. It's kind of like... And then there's Blue Velvet, which is also really good. And Twin Peaks, which I feel was very tame compared to Eraserhead.
You ever get in... You just said it. Real quick, chat. You ever just get in a mood where it's like, I'm not going to be happy until I watch a certain movie? You know what I mean? Like, you get a mood, it's like, I won't watch A New Hope.
And
I get that way sometimes, especially with Army of Darkness. Like, I will literally just be like, you know, it's been a few months since I watched Army of Darkness. I want to watch Army of Darkness. Or The Invisible Man or Creature from the Black Lagoon. It'll be like, it'll be just the most random thing, like, out of nowhere. I'm going to go watch Dracula.
Mulholland Drive rewatch commentary.
Oh, yeah, he does that. He does, like, commentaries while he watches movies on his channel. You should check that out sometime. You should check out Last Call with Troy. I'm not sure how you pronounce your last name. I'm sorry, dude. But you should check out Last Call. I was actually on that show one time. No, I never watch any movies. I need to make time to watch movies.
See, I watched...
See, that just sounds like a sad life right there, man.
what was it called? The last thing I know David Lynch did. You Don't Know Jack, or There's Something About Jack. It's a short film. He's talking to a monkey. I watched that.
I suddenly remember why usually I have him be quiet during these shows. So...
And the thing I got from Eraserhead, everybody has their own thoughts of what it means.
Sorry, folks, there's a helicopter, like, specifically shining its light at us. And it passed. Okay. I know you guys can't see it, but, yeah, no. There was just this helicopter off in the distance, and it zoned in and shined its light directly at me. And I'm just like all night long we've been making jokes about they're gonna come for us because we keep making fun of Disney and different films and Miramax and stuff like that. But anyway,
It's the what you don't know is that's the directors for Scream 5 and 6.
they heard me and they're actually coming. They're coming. They're armed with their avocado toast or whatever the hell. They're gonna sue me or something. You know what? Bring it on. I don't even know your names, and the fact of the matter is, you're not important enough to remember your bloody names in the first place. Anyway, 1 through 4 is true Scream, okay? Fight me.
That's true.
And keep in mind, I have an arsenal of undead familiars around here. Now, real quick, Sean asked a question. Five Nights at Freddy's is about a demon? What? What the cinnamon toast crap is that?
Yeah, I think the people that made the Five Nights at Freddy's movie changed up a bunch of stuff.
Bullshit! That's my opinion of it. Bullshit! You don't need to change anything. Five Nights at Freddy's is kind of like Scream. Just stop at 4. Okay? There doesn't need to be anything else after 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 were cool.
Like to have on the Thursday thing show sometime 9 p.m. See, I could go on and on about Eraserhead.
See, I am free Thursday nights, I think. Yeah? Yeah, no, I don't work Thursday nights. Maybe in the future we could do that. Hey, I love hearing the sound of my own voice. I'll come and talk on anything. I don't mind. But anyway.
Yeah, I'll ramble about Eraserhead. How everybody says one thing about it, it's like
is that your Patrick movie? Eraser, what movie can you talk about that'll have you like where people are ready to crucify you? Is Eraserhead your movie?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like I'm actually ranting about it.
Oh, Pizzeria Simulator. That was okay, but either way, my point is, back to my point. Scream was, in my opinion, Scream was kind of what...
Glam Rock Freddy.
Glam Rock Freddy was...
Hey, I like Security
Breach. Oh, hi, Mangle. Yeah, no, I have a little plushie of... what are they didn't call her Mangle in this form. They call her, what is it, Funtime Foxy? Mangle, not mangled, is like Funtime Foxy, I think. I'm not sure. What are you doing over there? And of course, we have a gigantic Foxy, too. Not sponsored, by the way. Please don't sue me, Lloyd Kaufman. Or, who was it?
Scott Cawthorn.
Scott Cawthorn. Please don't sue me, Scott Cawthorn.
Lloyd Kaufman's not going to sue you. Lloyd Kaufman's playing the show.
I know, yeah. By the way, real quick.
Thank you, Lloyd Kaufman, again.
Thank you, Lloyd Kaufman.
Trauma.
I'm not going to say that comment out loud, Sean. You can just know. Anyway, though, let's wrap this up by mentioning, actually, one of the greatest forces of horror. Don't you...
That's something I expect somebody else to say.
Where's it at?
No,
Where's it at? No, I want to read it out loud. What does it say? Where's it at?
No.
That one?
Leave me alone. Go away. Get your own jam show.
That comment I am going to say.
Anyway.
Tell Sean.
Stop throwing stuff at me, for crying out loud. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up with one of the greatest voices in horror is actually Lloyd Kaufman over at Trauma Now. Trauma Studios. Their streaming service is Trauma Now, which, by the way, we are on. And actually, I'm going to tell a story. How did I get on Trauma? So, way back, I want to say about a year and a half ago, someone commented on how Twitter had devolved into kind of just a drama factory. You know what I mean? People were so petty on Twitter because they wanted that clout and just to be talked about, having drama, that basically the joke was you could pick a fight with any celebrity, and even though they don't know you, they would fight you and argue with you, even though you're completely inconsequential to them. And I was like, you know what? That sounds kind of funny, actually. What the hell? I'll try it. But I was like, well, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to pick a fight with a celebrity. It needs to be somebody that'll have a sense of humor about it. You know what I mean? And so I immediately thought of dear old Uncle Lloyd. And so I threw out a tweet saying that Lloyd Kaufman was not brave enough to watch The Vagrancy Horror. And about 2 days later, I got a notification of a reply from Lloyd Kaufman saying, hey, these are great! You know, you should really consider putting these up on Troma Now. And then he sent me a private message with the information to actually submit some of my shows, some of my episodes, to be on Troma Now.
Successful troll.
Basically, a successful trollma, if you will. But it was the funniest damn thing because I saw he had replied to it and I was like, oh no, I made a mistake. I should not pick a fight with somebody who is so, famous and respected. What if he doesn't take it funny? And no, he turns out to be a fan of the show. He likes the damn Vagrancy Horror. He said they were great. And so we put...
Lloyd Kaufman seems like the coolest guy. I'd love to meet him.
There's a reason everyone calls him Uncle Lloyd. He's everybody's uncle. He's so... It's funny. Every time I've seen him anywhere, he's so supportive and energetic. Which is saying something because he's older than dirt. I love you, Uncle, but you're older than dirt. He is. But
he just seems like the happiest, nicest guy.
He is, and the one of the things I really like about him is he's a Chaplinist of comedy, which is to say he doesn't make fun of other people. He makes fun of himself. He doesn't go after people. He's not, I mean, I'm sure there's some scandal that he was involved with like 50 years ago or some shit.
He's only 77.
Really? He doesn't look it. He looks much older.
He could hold office.
Love you, Uncle. Anyway, though, but no, I love how his most famous book is literally called "Make Your Own Damn Movie." You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. Like, jokes aside, that is sincerely probably some of the best advice I've ever heard anyone give. You know what I mean? Like, because what were we talking about? What have we been talking about this whole damn night? Why were the Universal monster movies so successful? Because they wanted to be there. They wanted to do it. They didn't care if they were going to lose money. They knew they were going to lose money. It was a surprise when they actually made money off these films. By the way, they made freaking bank. Halloween, again, they just wanted to make those movies. In fact, a lot of people argue that the whole reason it declined so hard after 3 is because they weren't making what they loved anymore. They had to make Michael Myers movies. They didn't want to make Michael Myers movies. And the same with Wes Craven and Scream. Like I said, the Scream series, the true Scream series, by the way, those were just masterfully created love letters to a franchise, not a franchise, a genre that he loved. Excuse me again. They were just a love letter, masterfully written, to a genre that he loved. You know what I mean? So don't... The kids say I invented her. Well, Dad, you do kind of look like Santa Claus, to be fair. I mean, you do look up there. By the way, how was Methuselah in real life? Like 5 people get that joke. Anyway, though, back to my point. The point is that the reason these movies are so endearing, the reason that they were so successful, it's not because of the budgets. It's not because of the actors. They were good. They were good actors. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely. I imagine I'm still going to get some kind of death threat about my comments about Raines versus Lugosi. But either way. But the real thing you should take from these movies is never be afraid to be yourself. Love the things you love. You know what I mean? Don't worry about, oh no, only so many people are gonna, like this video or something. I don't bloody care. Like, seriously, have you seen my videos? Like, seriously, I'm serious. A lot of my videos get less than 1% likes to the number of viewerships.
Stop that.
Be kind to yourself.
I don't think I deserve that one. Okay, I might have deserved that. Anyway. But no, that's personally, I think, why horror is truly so eternal. It's not so much, oh, good night, Dad. We're wrapping up here and he has to go to bed. Good night, Dad. It's not just that it's satisfying to see, obnoxious teens get butchered by Freddy or Jason or anything like that, or even how it's great to see the heroic Van Helsing overcome the evil Count Dracula. There's a passion in these movies, in horror in general. Because let's be honest here, you don't do horror for profit. Let's just call a spade here. You don't do that. Okay? Seriously, Frankenstein in 31 was lightning in a bottle. Kind of literally, if you think about it. The Halloween movies, the same way. Same with Scream. But that's kind of the edge that these movies have too, is because at the very worst, there's still that passion in them. And that's why we're still going to be talking about them for ages and ages onward. Heck, we freaking collect memorabilia from movies we haven't even seen yet. Because there's something so unique to the horror genre. We really don't care. We'll do whatever we want.
To be fair, when I bought him that Candyman figurine, I thought he had seen the movie.
I have actually not. I gotta watch that movie.
I'm gonna argue it don't matter if you've seen the movie if you're a horror fan, and that's autographed by Tony Todd.
That's all. I know
That's
Tony
really,
Todd.
really
I know
cool.
him as the Candyman. I know him.
And
I
he's
know.
been in a lot of things, but
Well, that's the problem. Is I don't.
I'm the only person here who's actually seen the Candyman. Then
I've seen originally on TV. So if that
The
counts.
censored, the water cooler version they call it.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to my point. Horror is truly unique in film. And really in general, in writing and everything, because you really do get that passion. Because like I said, we know where... I'm going to give the devil his due here. Stephen King got it right with The Loser Club. We're a bunch of freaking losers. We're a bunch of weirdos who nobody likes, no one wants to admit they're friends with. We're the weirdos who, like, freaking... I remember in school, I go to school on Monday morning, everyone would be talking about the Saturday morning cartoons. You know what I was talking about? Reruns of Tales from the Crypt. And nobody had a clue what I was talking about. So nobody would talk to me, because I was the weirdo who talked about freaking people with puppets for hands and corpses jumping out of coffins. And things like that. But it's because of the fact that we really have nothing to lose, because we're a bunch of losers already anyway, that we're able to make these wonderful things. But anyway, we're getting late. This has been I feel bad because I know I've been like rambling this entire show. But it's like with the mad scientist thing. It's like it's a topic that I love so much. It's like I want to say everything all at once. The puppet hand episode still haunts Sean to this day. It's funny how memorable that one is. Like everyone knows what I'm talking about with that episode. Assuming that they know Tales from the Crypt. It's funny. Everybody knows that one. But anyway. What are we doing next week? Still a bit too early to do that episode. It's not quite Halloween, but it's creepy. It's weird. You guys want to talk about aliens next week? Oh, I think the bishop is having a seizure.
Do I get to make more tinfoil hats?
Well, duh. We gotta keep.
You got me. Well, of course I'm gonna wear it.
We gotta wear the tinfoil. You can't talk about aliens without a tinfoil hat.
Gonna make tinfoil hats.
That makes them angry.
We'll wear it on the show, and then the next day we'll wrap and bake some chicken wings.
Didn't we do that?
Pretty much, yeah. The last time we talked about aliens, we had tinfoil hats, and then like a couple days later, we used them to wrap chicken in the oven.
Real quick, Sean. No, he doesn't put the little hand puppet thing in a blender. He puts it in a sausage grinder. But yeah, next week we're going to be talking about aliens. And I'm going to finally pull the trigger and talk about that alien conspiracy.
Don't.
Aliens.
You were so out of focus with that. Yeah, don't forget to check us out on Trauma Now. As always, you know,
Black Lily.
BlackLily1313 at gmail.com. Last Call with Troy is another cool show. Of course, also the Late Late Horror Show is also phenomenal.
Bandcamp.com/Kobold's Corner.
Oh yeah, Kobold's Corner has a Bandcamp thing.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
But yeah, do we have a link for that?
Yep. It's the first thing that's popping up.
There we go. Hold on a second. You can check out our dear friend Kobold's Corner at the Bandcamp website. That I totally.
And every other Sunday, semi-monthly.
Oh yeah,
on Twitch.
Kobold Corner has Twitches on Sundays. Twitch streams on Sunday. Are you doing one this week?
I'm doing a production stream this week. By the way, speaking of which, I know it's a little bit off topic because it's his show, not my show.
Lower down.
But
You gotta focus.
I was gonna say, if you guys are interested in getting any like weird music box songs, I'm doing a production stream this weekend on Twitch. I'm going to be making music box music for people.
Like the theme for the Vagrancy Horror.
Yeah, like the theme for the Vagrancy.
Yeah. So stop by on his Twitch.
Um,
We gotta have the link for that.
3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock Mountain
Yep.
Time.
Kobold's Corner with K. I don't have a link.
The Twitch is twitch.tv/StrapSharpsMonthly.
That's right. He goes by his DJ name there. Hold on. We're gonna get this fixed. We'll get this last link out.
And it didn't type. Twitch.tv/Scraps.
With
Sure.
a C, not a K.
With this. Oh.
That. See, I said Kobold's Corner with K right there.
Yeah, that's good.
There we go.
Kobold's Corner with a C, not a K.
Anyway, though, but yeah, we have so many links and stuff to share with people. But either way, we're going to be talking about 3 p.m. Mountain Time.
Production stream.
Yeah.
Go check
them out.
Kobold's Corner.
And in the meantime, boys and girls, get your tinfoil hats ready next week. There will be a quiz. And as always, keep checking the shadows.